that you bought from the farmer's market or online. Channel. I'm thinking fall flowers. I'm thinking fall green stalk. I'm thinking fall bedding plants so that we can have some fall vibes later in the year when it's actually fall time. So in order to accomplish that, we do have to start some things right now. If we want to have fall flowers, we got to get them going right now. Honestly, we probably could have gotten them going a little earlier, but I recently made an order with True Leaf Market, which is one of my favorite places to purchase seeds from. So I got a bunch of flower seeds, things to start for the fall, things to enjoy later in the year and into next year as well. So I'll share that with you today, as well as how I'm starting seeds for the fall and what exactly I'm starting. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here to hang out today. And if you want to know exactly what I have been getting up to, we've had some changes around here, and that's why you haven't seen me for about 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I don't even know how long it's been since I've been on YouTube, but I'm back today. So let's jump right in. So sorry if I make you dizzy here. I'm just gonna put my stuff over here by the sink. And I thought I would show you, well, we'll pop outside to check on the chickens and everything, but I wanted to show you, we have the greenhouse. I'll show you exactly why we're not starting seeds in the greenhouse. This is the thermometer for the greenhouse. It's a cloudy day today. It's 98 degrees, 98.9 degrees in the greenhouse right now. And that usually during the day about this time is at about 105 degrees. So I would love to start seeds in the greenhouse, but it is so much too hot for the seed starting in the greenhouse at this point in the year. So unfortunately, but we're gonna pop out there, we'll check on the chickens, and we'll also grab the things that we need from the greenhouse in order to get started with the seed starting. Okay, so it's looking so much better, you guys. I just left it in a mangled, terrible state until this weekend. You see, it's completely empty, but there's nothing that could survive in here anyway. So I'm gonna grab these trays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trays. I have no idea how many I'm going to need. We'll take these, set them on the end here, and then I'll put the rest of the stuff on top. I need the soil blocker, which is in my bin here. 2-inch soil blocker. I'll take that inside. And I might take this little seed holder and seed poker in. So let's pop out to the chickens though, and we'll grab this stuff to take in just a minute. I have pulled up so many things. I already pulled up from there green beans, took down a bunch of tomatoes this weekend that were already done. Look at the cucumbers are done as well. They need to come out. They're starting to get powdery mildew and all kinds of disease. So those this weekend, or maybe before if we have a little bit nicer weather, will come down as well. I have harvested so many cucumbers that I'm pretty much spent on them. You can see a few ripe tomatoes left on a few of the plants. And one thing I do need to still gather up is all of the peppers. There's cayenne, there's jalapenos. I've already done 2 big harvests of peppers, but I have probably another big harvest left yet to do, which is great. I just haven't done anything with them quite yet. My fig tree back there, let me show you my fig tree back there. We have a turkey that is in the box, the herb box there, and she is sitting on eggs. There's actually 2 of them, but this is my fig tree back there, and it is as big as it has ever been, and it is giving figs like crazy. Here's everybody out here. Turkeys. We're having a milder day today. We had storms all through the night last night, and it actually feels a little bit better today outside. Of course, the wind is pretty strong today. There's the turkeys. Let's pick up some eggs and then we'll go in. In there, I found a bunch of eggs, but I also found this girl. Look at her eye. What she has is fowl pox. We sometimes battle that here in Louisiana. See these? They're just literally pox on her comb, around her eye. Makes her eye swollen, so it's hard for her to open. And sometimes if they have a pox on them, the others will peck them. So that may be why she is not opening her eye at the moment. So I have some cream that I put on there. So let's pop into the little barn over here and put a little cream on her while I've got her, because she's not feeling too good. This is a virus. We struggle with it every year here in Louisiana. And it's typically because the hot heat conditions, they get stressed, and then they're more susceptible to getting that fowl pox. So we're gonna treat her. We're gonna treat her comb with that with the cream that I have, and we'll treat around her eye, and obviously not right on her eye. But then we'll put her over in the little area that I just showed you, actually, where I have a chicken with a hurt leg, and that way she can just relax over there. She doesn't have to worry about getting pecked. All right, if it looks like I'm sweating, it's because I'm sweating. It's so hot outside, even in here. Okay, so this eye is the good eye, as you can tell, and I'm going to find, here it is. This is what I use. Okay, this is what I use, bag balm. It's okay. I don't know exactly what it has in it. It has petroleum jelly, of course, but it also has something called hydroquinone sulfate, and I think that is what helps to treat this. Now, like I said, this is a virus, so it comes from within, and it's usually the first year, like 1 year old or less than 1 year old chickens that get it, and that's what this girl is. There's a whole group of them out there at this point that are her age. Well, this is probably the fun way to do it. And they are the most likely to get it, because after this year she will have built up an immunity to this and she won't get it again. But it is something that could be very harmful to them. There's actually two forms of fowl pox. There's one, it's called wet fowl pox, and that gets into their respiratory system. They get the pox actually in their respiratory system, and that is much more deadly than this other version of fowl pox, which is on their comb and skin and things like that. So I'm just going to put this on pretty generously, not actually on her eye, but around it and on the comb and everything, and her wattle here. And she won't thank me now, but she'll thank me later. And it does make them a little bit sad and sick as well. Usually they can recover from it as long as they're still eating and drinking and everything. Now, as I said, this is something that is just sort of in our soul. Look at her poor face over here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, girl. Okay. Okay, Missy. That's gotcha. Now we'll take her over to the little coop small area that I made for the other girl, and we'll put her in there. That way she can just have some R&R. It's okay. I'm gonna put you in here where you can rest. You're gonna be okay. Put you in here with your sister. This chicken that's in here is actually one of my young girls too, and she got her leg hurt. I have another chicken that's actually in here with the hurt leg chicken, but the sister is smart enough to jump out and go gallivanting during the day, and the hurt leg chicken stays in. So she just waits for her sister to come back in the evening time. It's actually kind of funny. Okay, but let's put this girl in so she can get some good rest. She doesn't seem to mind that at all. Now we can finally start on putting some seeds in the soil. I will tell you, the second batch of soil that I mixed up with water, I got it way too oversaturated. So you'll see here, there's some pooling around the soil blocks. In the end, it was fine, but be careful about that. But what I have here is a total of 136 soil blocks. So that's a pretty good amount from one bag. I also have some, this is actually called, this is washi tape, that tape that's not very sticky, but it will stick on here really nicely. This is what I used in the greenhouse, the same tape, just maybe a different color. And so I will tell you exactly what I have, oh gosh, to get started here with. And what I'm thinking is that I want to redo my green stalk. Hopefully I can insert some video of what it looks like right now. It ain't good. It's too hot. The things that I had in there, they're pretty much done at this point, except for that red salvia. As long as you deadhead that salvia, it seems to just come back and back and back. So that's what I've been doing. As soon as the little blossoms on it are done and they start to turn brown, I deadhead them and it puts a whole new set of blooms on. So that's done very well. So, but the other things in the green stalk, like calendula, what else did I even have in there? Oh, nasturtiums, all are on the bottom. It looked beautiful for a long time after I first planted it. I'll try to put some video of it in when it was really looking good as well. We've absolutely enjoyed it. At some point, when it first started to get very hot outside, I did move it from out in the full sun. In early spring, I had it out in the full sun, sort of on the very open area of our back deck. And then once it started to really heat up in the day, it was way too hot for it to be in the full sun all day, every day. So I moved it over where it was in the shade most of the day, and it's done beautifully there. As long as I've kept it watered frequently, probably every other day. And it's so easy to water that green stalk. You literally just fill the top. You can put fertilizer right in with it as well. Anyway, it's done great, but by the time that these things are big enough to go into it, it will be ready for a complete redo. So these will be great to have throughout the fall and early winter days, so that we can still have some pretty color in that green stalk and have some nice things up on our back deck still. So let me tell you exactly what I have that I'm going to be getting started today. The first thing is something that I'm not necessarily starting for the green stalk or anything, but I want to go ahead and get this gumfrina started, because I want to have it for my front flower bed for next year. So it takes about, I think these take 2 years to, 2 seasons basically to be mature. And then if I need to, I can just grow it in the greenhouse or in some, in some pots and containers over the cooler winter months. And then I can transplant it up front into my front flower bed next year, basically. This says it's very drought tolerant, doesn't need much fertilizer, doesn't need a lot of attention. So I want things that like that out front, because that is the least that is the least visited area for me of the entire property. The rest of these things will be for the green stalk and for like seasonal bedding plants for the rest of this year. So the first thing is some snapdragons. It's coming up to where we here in the South, we would put snapdragons in for the cooler months. So whereas a lot of people start them and have them throughout the spring and summer, it's way too hot here for that. And they just go to seed immediately once it starts to really heat up here. So winter time is a great time for snapdragons because they're actually pretty frost hardy. They don't freeze. I had snapdragons in a planter, a combination actually. I had Johnny Jump Up, I had snapdragons, and I had Dusty Miller in the most beautiful planters probably that I have ever had. They lasted all fall and winter last year. That's exactly what I'm going for again, basically. So that's some things that we'll be starting today. This one is called Liberty Classics Mix Snapdragon. I'll try to find a picture and put them on the screen for you so you know exactly what I'm talking about. The other one, this one is called, these are violas or Johnny Jump Up. That's what their kind of name is. So these are actually perennial and they'll kind of reseed, but I don't know if they will here for us or not, but they're great throughout the cooler months for us. They probably will last throughout the entire winter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them started. Dusty Miller as well. This is a pelleted seed of Dusty Miller, which means to me the seeds must be very tiny for this. So this only is 25 seeds, and like the Snapdragon is only 25 seeds as well. I think they were just a couple bucks though. The next two things that I'm gonna do, these are both packs of pansies. This one is a Cool Wave pastel mix, and this one is a Cool Wave frost, which I think is white. I'm not sure, I need to look though. No, periwinkle blooms it says. So pansies of course are great for cold or cooler weather. They do really good in those short days of the cooler months as well. So this is only 10 seeds per pack, but we'll get a lot of bang for our buck from pansies. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is some dianthus. This one is called Diana Series Mix. I can't remember what colors. Oh, this says pink, burgundy, fuchsia, velvet, magenta, and white. So all the colors, all the kind of fall colors, which will be great. So I'm just gonna get started planting these out. Let's just start with this dianthus. While I'm pinning labels, let's chat about where have I been? What have I been doing? I'll tell you what I haven't been doing. Going to the farmer's market. And let me tell you why. We opened a new business. So my husband opened a new business, really. It's his business. I already had a farmer's market business, and I also was doing YouTube, of course, as you saw. And then we decided to open a new business. Now my husband has been in this business in the industrial blasting, coating, painting business for all of his career, over 20-25 years. But he's always worked for somebody else doing that. And we finally decided that, you know what, maybe this is the time to try it, to go out on our own. Now we have a business partner who's a wonderful friend of ours, but that's where we have been. That's where I have been. So for the past several months, I've been working at the new business at least part of the day. So during the week, of course. Now, I'm doing not the physical work, not painting or blasting or anything like that, but the bookkeeping, the payroll, the business end of things as far as getting things set up and acquiring all the things that are needed to start a business. Who knew? I mean, I knew because my business for the farmer's market, I needed all of those things, but that was a few years ago. And maybe that's kind of like having a baby. Like you don't remember all the particulars about it that you did. You just knew you did all the things at some point. And that's exactly how this has been, because one thing, you need one thing, which leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to another, is the way it seems like in a business startup. There's no strict manual about how to begin. You just begin and then you figure it all out, right? So I'm just gonna write dianthus on these 3 rows here. Okay, yeah, but that's where I have been, and it has been going really, really well. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. We're so thankful for that, because we have work. We've started, you know, getting work and all of that. So that's been really wonderful. Now, it has been hard, and that's why I haven't really been able to be on YouTube and kind of doing the creative things that I like to do, because it's so much thought work involved for me to figure it all out, to put systems in place for the bookkeeping, and I don't know. It's just more brain power than I'm used to using, because the things that I'm used to doing are kind of like on autopilot for me at this point. You know, cooking and making things for the farmers market and all that. I've been doing it for so long, for 3 years, that it was sort of second nature. So like I said, we haven't been attending the farmers market. We've kind of made some changes there because we couldn't do both. We just couldn't do both. And I don't know if we will go back to doing both or all of the things. I really want to prioritize returning here to YouTube. I love the community that kind of comes with YouTube and sharing things on YouTube. And so I think I'm going to make that my priority instead of going back to the farmers market, because I don't think that I know I can't do it all. So I think we will just do this for now, and I'm excited to be able to start sharing with you again, because now things are a little easier for me. I've got some systems in place, and the things that I need to handle, luckily, which is not the hard stuff, like the hard work of actually doing the manual things that the guys all do. The things that I need to do, I can do in a couple hours a day of focused time, and then I can move on and do my creative things that I really love to do. So, like planting seeds. Okay, so let me label these, and this is 6 and 4. So this will be pansies. This is going to be the Cool Wave Frost. And then we have a space here for 4, which may end up being the rest of these dianthus, but we'll see. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of label and set these. No, I just need to put them on in, otherwise I'm going to forget. Let's start with these dianthus. These are pelleted seeds, like I said. Nice and easy to see because they're bright yellow. There's about 6 in there that do not want to come out. I'm just putting 1 seed per hole. Oh, I need to go get my vermiculite. I forgot it outside. I didn't even think to grab it. So we'll get it in a few minutes when we're wrapped up with putting all the seeds in. As I said, these dianthus are mixed color. So we should have a lot of good variety from these. And we're gonna do these last 4 with the dianthus as well. I've 3 extra seeds, so we'll just double these up. Okay, now all of these are going to be the Cool Frost pansies. I'm looking. Oh my gosh, these are exceptionally small. This is not 10, is it? It is 10. It is 10 on the nose. It's crazy. They are so small, I can hardly see them. I should put my glasses on. I have them on my head. Who knew? Okay. Those are tiny. What do they say? They don't really have any information about how to plant them, but they're such a small seed that obviously you don't need to put much cover over them. So we're gonna wait to cover all of these actually, and we'll cover them with vermiculite rather than soil. So I'm gonna move this away. Pansies, Johnny Jump Up, and Gomphrena on one tray. And then the last tray will be for Snapdragons and Dusty Miller. Once things start to pop up, you can pretty easily tell the difference between things once they start to grow. So the first thing is going to be Pansies, the Cool Wave Pastel. We'll put the Gomphrena in the middle of the two. That way it's a little easier to see the difference. 16 of the Gomphrena. So that's 26, so 48 minus 26, so we'll have 22 violas. That'll be plenty for our green stalk and then other planters as well. All right, so let's just start on the pansy side. Only 10 of these, so we better not drop one. Tiny. These are as small as petunia seeds. Have you ever grown petunias from seed? They are minute, like little black dots. Smaller than a flake of pepper. Okay. Pansy. Put the glasses on. Just put them on, girl. And then last but not least, we're gonna do a whole lot of Snapdragons. No, we're gonna do 25 because that's all we have. I need a label. Don't even start, girl. And Dusty Miller, which Dusty Miller is one of my favorites because it's a great filler, of course, but it looks good all the time because it's that white, beautiful color. So that's all that's going in this tray here is Snapdragon and Dusty Miller. Just gonna pour some of that vermiculite. See how it's so fine? It does really good at covering the seeds without smothering them too much. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some over top of the seeds and the soil blocks to cover the seed, but not smush it, smother it so that it won't germinate. The vermiculite on top of the soil blocks also helps them prevent them from growing algae, like sometimes they can tend to do if you're using not a sterilized seed starting mix like a Jiffy potting soil or something. As you saw, this was like a Black Cow mix seed starting mix, so it might have a little bit more microbial life in it that could be more prone to growing algae when it stays moist. So in addition to covering this with the vermiculite on top, we are going to put some plastic wrap over it until things start to germinate. When things start to barely germinate and we start see the first little signs of green, then you'll take that plastic off and let it rip. You don't have to keep it covered anymore after that. Let me let Zeus in. Okay, last one. I'm really just focusing on the seed, little seed indention in general. And then I'll put a little bit more in addition to that.